What's happening, guys? Hope you're all having a great day out there. So today, the senior ball got underway, the first practice of the week. In today's video, I'm just going to give you guys a quick report on who stood out on day one, just the overall controversy surrounding Devonta Smiths' decision not to weigh in, and also we're going to hear from Coach Flo, and he'll be giving his thoughts on Smith and just the overall benefits of coaching the national team this year, and just his thoughts on how this offseason is going to play out leading up to the draft. Here's 5 guys that stood out on day one. We'll start here with Carlos Basham, defensive end out of Wake Forest. Basham was excellent, especially in team drills. He made it clear that he knows how to work through the edges of offensive tackles. His power was really just too much for offensive linemen today, and I'm excited to see how he's going to finish the week. He's a big guy, 6'5", 270 pounds. He did look good today, but watching his tape, I think that he plays out of control way too often. He doesn't have great fundamentals, but one thing's for certain, Carlos Basham has got all the physical tools in the world to maybe develop into an NFL defensive end. The next guy that stood out was Levi Onwuzurike, defensive tackle out of Washington. He opted out of the 2020 season, so it's been 402 days since he last competed in a helmet and shoulder pads. And naturally, you'd think after not playing football for that long that his game might have been a little off on Tuesday, but he showed zero signs of rust when watching him. He looked quick and he was able to generate knockback power on one-on-one pass rush situations. His quickness, according to Daniel Jeremiah, reminds him a lot of defensive tackle Grady Jarrett for the Atlanta Falcons. They do have different body types, but Onwuzurike played with that same type of effort and motor. Daniel Jeremiah said that he's a big fan of what he brings to the table. I definitely agree, and that's why he has him ranked number 23 on his top 50 prospects for the 2021 NFL Draft. The next guy that stood out was Josh Palmer, wide receiver from Tennessee. The former Volunteer star helped himself as much as any prospect on Tuesday. He looked smooth, he looked fluid in one-on-ones, he was able to get over the top of coverage and track the ball well while it was in the air. There really wasn't a lot of buzz about him coming into the week, but I thought he was pretty consistent today. Daniel Jeremiah has got him penciled in as a 3rd or 4th round selection. Another guy that stood out was Larry Roundtree, running back from Missouri. It's hard to get a gauge for running backs at the Senior Bowl until we really get to the game when everyone's going to play live and at full speed, but Larry Roundtree really did well on day one of practice. He ran the ball really well, especially in 9-on-7 drills. He showed excellent vision and decisiveness. It really seems like he's continuing to build on the great campaign he had for Missouri last season. He had 14 touchdowns last season, and with his showing at the Senior Bowl, he could solidify himself as a solid running back prospect in the upcoming draft. The last 2 guys here are Shi Smith and Tylan Wallace. Tylan Wallace from Oklahoma State and Shi Smith from South Carolina. I'll start here with Smith. Smith really made the catch of the day on a corner route. We've seen some talented wide receivers come out of South Carolina over the last couple of years. Deebo Samuel, who was a 2nd round pick in 2019 and was great during that Senior Bowl week, and Brian Edwards, who was a 3rd round pick to the Raiders last season. Debo and Brian Edwards, I was a huge fan of those coming out of South Carolina, and we'll see if Shi Smith can continue to carry on that torch. He possibly is the next one in line. He's going to be a day one starter as a slot receiver in the NFL. Daniel Jeremiah said he reminds him a lot of New York Jets slot receiver Jamison Crowder, so a team looking for someone like that is really going to like Smith coming out of the draft. He's a guy I could definitely see the Dolphins taking in the 3rd or 4th round. And lastly here, the receiver that really stood out the most to me was Tylan Wallace from Oklahoma State. 6 foot, 185 pounds. I thought he did the best job getting open and just creating separation today. He's a tremendous route runner. He runs with great quickness and just great speed. He's got tremendous polish on his routes, but he also can go up in one-on-one situations and just win the football. He's a talented receiver that isn't a one-trick pony. He isn't just a route running technician. He can go up and win the football. He's got tremendous hands. Tylan Wallace, I think, is really going to make a case for himself as a 2nd round pick moving through the Senior Bowl week because, yeah, he is super talented. Tylan Wallace, I wouldn't be mad if he's in a Dolphins jersey after the draft. So today, Coach Flores met with reporters over Zoom, obviously. He talked a little about Alabama's stud wide receiver, Devonta Smith. Flores said, "This guy's a very, very good player." And when he was asked about Smith's size, who's listed at 6'1", 175 pounds on the Crimson Tide website, Flores replied, "If you're a good player, I mean, you can nitpick all you want about a guy's size, but good players are good players are good players." I think we can all see that, and this guy's a very good player. He made a ton of plays in college. He made a lot of plays in the big games the biggest games of the year. You can nitpick all day about things on people, but he's a very good player. It's been good getting to know him. He's a good kid too, Coach Flores said. So I think it's fair to say Coach Flores is a fan of Devonta Smith, the player and the man, and we'll just see, what happens come April. But I'd rather have Jamar Chase early in the draft. I think Jamar Chase is much more of a total package. He's 6'1", 210 pounds. He's an absolute beast. I'd much rather have Jamar Chase, but I wouldn't be mad at all as well if Devonta Smith was drafted by the Dolphins. Coach Flores also spoke on the offensive coordinator search. He didn't shed any light on who's going to replace Chan Gailey, but he did talk a bit about who's handling play calling duties during this week. Flores said that we're going through our process with the coordinator position, which is, taken a mighty long time. We should have a coordinator by now during Senior Bowl week, but, who knows? He might surprise us with a tremendous coordinator. We'll see what's going to happen, but, I'm really waiting to see who's going to be our OC, and I'm hoping Flores is going to pick the right man for the job, and he's going to accept the position, obviously. Flores went on to say, look, we've got very capable guys in Eric Studsville and George Gotze, and we've got a good young staff. Putting together a plan is really not much of an issue. Those guys are doing a really good job, and we'll go through the process, but really the focus is on the players here at the Senior Bowl. The evaluations of the players here this week, and hopefully we'll get much more information to help us make good decisions come draft time, which is what I said in my last video. It's going to help us to get a real feel for these guys and just learn, what they're about in every facet of their life. Gotze and Studsville are the two internal candidates for the job for the Dolphins at the moment, but it's believed the Dolphins are still considering options outside of the building. Gotze was spotted at times today relaying play calls into the huddle during practice Tuesday, but so was new quarterbacks coach Charlie Fry, who was hired to replace Bobby Brown just last week. Coach Flores also spoke on the impact that COVID-19 is going to have on this offseason. This week's obviously going to be the best opportunity all spring for Coach Flores and General Manager Chris Greer and the rest of the Dolphins brain trust to get, the best chance to have a look at these guys. The NFL scouting combine has pretty much, been cancelled. Workouts are going to be held at college campuses, so, it's going to make things difficult. You can't have your whole organization in Indianapolis, and it's going to make it hard because we're going to have guys all over the country, and it's just going to make it difficult. So hopefully the Senior Bowl will help us out. Flores said, in my opinion, he thinks things are going to be similar to last year. He said maybe even a little more different in that there's going to be no combine. There's already been restrictions on the pro days and private workouts and things of that nature last year and this year. I think we've gone through a little bit. I think we've done Zoom meetings and players have worked out on their own and sent videos, so we've kind of done it that way, Flores said. He went on to also say, we did it that way last year, so this isn't the first time we've done it. But right now, I think this is a great opportunity for us to see the players live and up close, meet with them, talk to them, get some FaceTime with them, not just on the iPhone, but actual FaceTime, and get to know them as people, as players, and the things that make them tick. We get to coach also, which is always fun. We're excited about this week, and I think we'll get a lot out of it, and I know they will, because Flores is a hell of a coach, and he really knows what he's looking for, and I'm really confident he's going to get a good feel for these guys. Alrighty, so that's it for this one, guys. Just a little update here, updating you guys on day one of the Senior Bowl. Just some guys that stood out. And just going over the press conference Coach Flores had today. He let us know what he thinks of Devonta Smith. He wasn't asked about Najee Harris, which I thought was surprising because Najee obviously is going to be a player we're really looking at. And I also saw on Twitter, someone mentioned that Coach Flores, didn't take his eyes off Najee Harris all day. So who knows? It could be made up crap or it could be true, but I hope that's the truth because we all know Najee is an amazing dynamic player at running back. And I would love for the Dolphins to take him at number 18. Alrighty, guys, make sure to leave some feedback in the comments section. Like and subscribe if you've been enjoying the content, if you like this video. And as always, it's fins up, baby. We'll see what's in store day 2 of the Senior Bowl. Cheers, guys.